if they're cupped up, they're circling, they're circling around your spread. I'm letting you have them. They're your birds unless they peel out for whatever reason. Then they're fair game. But if they're cupped up and they're keying in on that spot, those are your birds. And I know some people disagree with me there. They'll be like, they're not your birds until they're in your hand.
Welcome to the Fowl Front Outdoors Waterfowl Podcast, where our goal is to recruit and educate new hunters while entertaining the rest of you. Without new hunters and the mentorship of those more seasoned, this passion as we know it faces an uncertain future. So get the word out, turn the volume up, and enjoy the show, because you're on the Fowl Front. So today we got Matt again. I guess we could call you should we call you the new co-host, or just the frequenter on the podcast?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Well, today we're both gonna regale the stories of our public land disappointments, I suppose, from this weekend, and talk a little bit about public land hunting etiquette and how to be successful on public land hunting.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, sounds good. So, Matt, you want to start off with kind of your story? What happened to you?
Yeah. So went out today and, got out early, get up, I usually try to give myself an extra hour or so just to get everything ready and tweak the decoys, get the cameras set up and stuff. And so I get out there, first one out there. I was like, all right, got the whole place to myself. A couple other groups show up, no big deal. Then it's probably about sunrise, half hour after shooting light, and these two guys show up. And, that's fine, not too big a deal. Maybe they had a flat tire or they had something pressing at home and couldn't get out until then. Not that big a deal. But these guys show up and they're yabbering on and they have their, banging decoys around, throwing decoys out and yelling at the dog. All the same time, when it's probably the golden hour of duck hunting, that first hour. So they're making all this racket and stuff. But, still not a big deal. They shoot at some ducks. I get pelted with pellets one time. These blinds, because we have permanent blinds you have to sit in on this public area. And these two blinds, the one I'm hunting and the one they were in, are maybe 100 yards, but I'd say probably closer to 80 yards apart.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so I'm set up, and we got a south wind. They're straight north of me. And get little pairs and flocks of four and stuff come in, and they'll give me passes about 2 or 3 times. And, I'm trying to get them in tight so I can actually shoot. I had some shots maybe at 40, 45 yards, but I don't want to lose a crippled bird. There's a bunch of cattails, and I don't have a dog, so don't want to lose any cripples like that. So, they get right with how they need to land in my spread. They would have to pass over the edge of these guys' shooting range, and they weren't looking at their spread. I can tell because just the way that the water is up there at that blind. Yeah. So they would spin out around, and they would, give them the same 40, 45-yard shots, and these guys would take them, even though the birds were cupped up, coming straight into the wind, coming into my spread.
Wait, well, they were shooting at different birds or shooting at those birds?
They were shooting at those birds.
Oh.
They were upwinding me. They came in, and it wasn't really intentional. There's only a select number of blinds out there, but, if I was in that blind, I wouldn't have shot those birds. I would have, let them, if they're working someone else's spread, let them work. But, fast forward to a little bit later in the morning and have a flock of 30 mallards sky high. And they were just doing it right. They were whiffling down, did 2 or 3 passes, just like all the other little flocks. And I was like, all right, this is going to get awesome. This is going to be really cool. I can't wait. Best working mallards I'd seen for at least a couple of years. And did the same thing as those other flocks. And they came and they banked around, getting about right right where they need to be, and those guys shoot into a flock of 30, crippled 2 of them, and I get more pellets rained down on me. So that was probably the most frustrating day of duck hunting I've ever had. Just having that happen.
That's really unfortunate. Like, it's really easy when to sit here and it sounds like we're kind of being like crusty jerks, like uppity, like, but it is irritating. And I think that if a lot of people just followed some simple rules about public land, like, this could definitely be saved. My question for you is the place you're hunting, they set up blinds, separate blinds 80 yards from each other?
Yeah, well, see, it's more of a goose spot is what it's for. So the geese for that other blind that was north of me, the geese wouldn't land up there because it's water, it'd be frozen, but there's a big meadow behind them. So usually people put the goose spread back there, and then they're hunting that way. But today it's not frozen yet. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
I would like them to move it back, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
Yeah. Now, me and Austin, we went out this weekend as well on the big lake over by my house, and we had a very kind of similar thing happen where we got up really early because it was public. We don't like to get beat to the public spots. And we'd scouted this place out. I'd gone twice, and he'd gone once. To try to figure out specifically where we need to be set up and watching birds and whatnot. So actually, a considerable amount of scouting time went into this compared to most hunting that I do. So anyways, we get in there. We got the boat in the water, all loaded up, and we're paddling by 3 a.m. And we get to the spot around 3:15, 3:30, and we're set up by 4. And we're just sitting there waiting for daylight. And about 30 minutes before it's legal shooting time, we see a truck just hauling butt down the lane that gets you to the, not the boat ramp, but where you can launch a boat. And comes hauling in, and we're like, oh, great. Hopefully these dudes are just coming back in here to launch, and they're going to move further out, because where we were back in there, it was like a little pocket, and it was about 150 yards wide. And so these, of course, they come making their way back to our spot, and or where we're set up. And I'm like, hey guys, we're back here. If you don't have any other place to hunt, why don't you just, no sense in having 2 groups back here. It's too small. And they tell me, nah, it's all right. We're hunting this creek right here. And I was like, yeah. And then Austin's like, dude, it's 150 yards. It doesn't matter. It's too close. He's like, we're just hunting woodies on this creek. We'll be in and out before the big ducks even come here. And we're like, guys, we gotta make that first, that golden hour count. We can't sit around here till 10:30. For the big ducks to come in. We're leaving at 9:30. We're trying to hunt here, and we got here first, and we've been here for 2 hours. And they just ignored us. Well, they sit out in there, and they're smoking and telling stories about Aggieville from last night. And when the birds start working, they're just standing up. Their dog is running everywhere and being loud. And we ended up getting 4 birds out of the whole thing, but which is crazy for how many ducks were coming back into that cove area, and just whoops, they would see those dudes or whatever it was, and they'd be right out. So we probably lost 5, maybe 6 big groups to their shenanigans. So it really frustrating. And then a little bit of karma. Their boat trailer did break down, and they had to leave their boat and their trailer clear back in the woods there, and so that felt nice. And I have to admit, we did consider taking like one of those locks, like a combo lock, and throwing it on their trailer, like the part that puts the thing down. But we decided to that would be, that wouldn't be a nice thing to do. So
No.
But I very seriously considered it.
Public land joys, man.
Yeah. The only reason I didn't put that lock on their trailer was because I didn't want to be someone's story about a bad experience on public land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but man, I really wanted to. So, anyways,
yeah.
that's why we're talking today. We're gonna go over some public land etiquette and discuss kind of what we think the rules are. And for anybody that's new to the group, like, hopefully you can abide by these. And I think it'd be better if everybody knew this stuff.
Agreed.
So, Matt, who taught you the rules, as it were? I use quotations around the rules.
That's a pretty good question. I guess my dad would have, for the main part. Where we hung when I grew up, there wasn't really too much pressure. Like, we'd be lucky if we saw one other person out there, just because, southeastern Nebraska isn't really known for duck hunting. So everyone else was chasing pheasants or deer. We'd be going out duck hunting. And, I learned like effective range, vis-a-vis sky busting. But, in regards to, like, setting up too close or letting people let people work their own birds or all that stuff, it's just been kind of you just kind of gain it through experience. You kind of ask yourself, would I want that done to me? And if the answer is no, then don't do it to someone else. I mean, it's just like anything else in life, really.
This week's episode is brought to you by the following partners. Hunt Hickory Creek. New to Hunt Hickory Creek this year is their Central Kansas Lodge. They're going to be running hunters from the end of October all the way through January. And they're situated right between Quivira and Cheyenne Bottoms, which combined can hold hundreds of thousands of birds at a time. And these guys are going to work their tails off. You got Chase, you got Cody, you got Scotty, and then you've even got Megan in there taking pictures. Guys, if you're going to be traveling outside of your state and you're going to pay for guide service, don't roll the dice. Come into our Facebook group, pick Chase or Scotty or Cody's brain, figure out who they are, and make sure that you're going to be booking a hunt with them, because they're not just awesome guides, they're great people. They're going to show you a great time. So, if you're going to hunt Kansas, hunt Hickory Creek. We're also brought to you by Dive Bomb Industries, the fastest growing, most affordable decoys on the market with unmatched customer service. And you can find them on Facebook, Instagram, or divebombindustries.com, and you can find Asher in our listeners group and get yourself into a large, effective, affordable, and easy to set up spread. It takes about a minute to set up on a dozen, and they take up no space in the garage or truck. They're tough, extremely realistic, and go get yourself twice the decoys, half the price, none of the hassle. Also brought to you by Toe Tags LLC. Now, federal migratory game bird laws apply in all 50 states. That includes yours, which includes gifting and tagging laws. Make sure to keep your birds separated and or tagged when transporting or storing them with other hunters' birds. Now, this includes from the field to home as well. Gifting in the field, though commonly done, never legal. It must be done at the donor or donee's personal abode. Hey, for other helpful hints and to keep yourself legal, go check Toe Tags LLC out on Facebook, or you can hit up Ryan in our Facebook group, or you can head on over to toetagsllc.com. So have fun, be safe, and keep it legal. We're also brought to you by Athlon Optics, which produce some of the finest shooting scopes and binoculars on the market. Their ED glass is top-notch and rivals the glass of binos 3 or 4 times their price. You're going to be able to pick a goose out in a depression from half a mile with these things. I'm telling you, they're tough, sturdy, and this is where Athlon Optics goes above and beyond their lifetime warranty, which is critical for us waterfowl hunters. I sport the Midas 10x42. and I'm extremely pleased with them. So head on over to Athlon Optics and get yourself a top-of-the-line binocular system for this season at a fraction of the price and a no-worries warranty. We're also brought to you by Freelance Hunt Stats, and I got to tell you, I'm really excited to be using Freelance Hunt Stats this year. If you've never logged your hunts in the past, start doing it. Especially with freelancehuntstats.com, because it's not just a journal. This thing can catalog all of your information, and you can go back, you can look at like how you do on sunny days. It's going to be a game changer for you. So head on over to freelancehuntstats.com and start logging your hunts this season. We're also brought to you by Duck Nuts, and now I've been fighting duck decoy rigging systems since I started. Wrapping, coiling, Texas rigs, talk about a pain in the butt. Now, I work hard, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the morning, it's time to go home, and Duck Nuts allows me to do that so that I can rig my decoys that all I got to do is throw them in a bag. And with our friction system, it's too easy to just pull the line and pack it up or just throw them out. It allows you to adjust for depth, and if you're tired of fighting your decoy rigs, head on over to ducknuts.com and use your 10% off code with Foul Front discount code. We're also brought to you by Gypsum Creek. Now, Gypsum Creek is a full-service gun dog training facility in the heart of the Midwest, and they are looking to build eager, confident, and reliable field companions through a unique approach that you don't find at many other places. So come check out Gypsum Creek Retrievers on their Facebook or Instagram, or you can hit up Evan, the owner, in our Facebook group. And I promise you, this guy loves your dog more than you do, and loves teaching him how to retrieve more than you do. I got to spend a weekend out with them, and it was an awesome time, I'm telling you. What they got going on over there, that's where you're going to want to send your dog. All right, we're also brought to you by the DuckTech mobile app. Increase your odds of success in the blind this year with the DuckTech mobile app. 3-time world duck calling champion Barney Califf teaches you how to make the most important duck sounds and what they mean to a duck, and when to use them, the most important part. DuckTech is also available to download on the App Store and Google Play. With the season approaching, get the app today so you can put more ducks on the strap tomorrow. We're also brought to you by SRB Field Rests. No matter what, where, or how you hunt, SRB Field Rests got you covered. They're going to keep your shotgun, rifle, or your bow, or your crossbow safe, clean, and ready for in the field or on the range. Waterfowl hunters in a dry field, a muddy field, marshes, flooded fields, or flooded timber. SRB Field Rests has you covered. Go check them out. They've got a 10% discount code for you with Foul Front, all undercase, one word. We are also brought to you by Gunner Kennels, the market's only double-wall, roto-molded dog crate and 5-star crash-tested rated kennel. These American-made boxes come with a lifetime warranty, and the guys over at Gunner Kennels have done some crazy stuff to show you how strong they really are, like dropping 4,000 pounds on it, hammering it with a 630-pound sled, and tossing it off a 200-foot cliff and shooting it with a 12-gauge shotgun with 0 bullet penetration. You're hitting the road with your dog this season. Gunner Kennels is your safest bet. Protecting your best friend and your investment. So head on over to gunnerkennels.com. We're also brought to you by HTR Innovations, and you have not heard of them yet, but I am hunting out of their A-frame this year, and they have one of the slickest inventions I've seen for waterfowl hunting. It's an awesome little gun stand for the marsh, go check them out at htrinnovations.com. Also, here's another big thing for you. Do you absolutely hate laying in your layout blind? Well, they got something for you. So go check them out. And our good buddy Jordan over there, he's going to be doing all their filming this year. Looking forward to seeing what they got. Okay, let's get back into this week's episode.
I don't know. You know, some people, they get frustrated or they get angry and they're like, well, if I'm not getting birds, neither are they. And they'll start shooting or yelling or blowing really hard on their call. There's no room for that. You know, we're all out there for the same thing, just to enjoy nature. So.
Yep, for sure.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent, but no, I'd say part of it from my dad, and then the rest of it just I kind of picked up throughout hunting in college and high school, just hunting by myself.
Yeah, and I think, mine was interesting because I think I learned a lot of these from, some of them are pretty basic, but there's a lot of, innuendo, or not innuendo, that's the correct word. There's a lot of stuff that's not right out obvious that you wouldn't realize unless somebody told you or it happens to you or something of that nature. And, it was kind of interesting because I learned a lot of these kinds of things from hardcore waterfowler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, as my first season is going by, I read things and I, pick up on things. I, Google it and stuff. And so I learned a lot of that stuff from there, or just reading about what people are jerks about to each other. And so, I'm sure I've definitely been somebody's this guy over here. You know what I mean? Just the nature of being a new guy to waterfowl hunting. But yeah, I it's not like these people don't know this stuff, because I think there's a huge difference between knowing that it's kind of a jerk thing to do and then not knowing it. You know what I mean? So, and And
a really good example of that would be sky busting. When you're just starting out and you might see a goose or you might see a duck and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that, and you pull up, you don't really know your effective range of your gun, or you're just too excited and you want to shoot at it. I think that's part of it, versus the guys that oh yeah, I know I probably won't kill this one, but I got my long range pattern master in and I'm just gonna
take a shot.
Spray and pray. Just gonna send it, as the kids say, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's true because there's if it's your second season, you might not know what your effective range is. But I don't understand it's greed, actually, that would make you take a 60, 70-yard shot on a bird that has the possibility of working someone else's spread. And obviously that greed is bred by, limited resources and multiple people competing over limited resources. So,
yep.
Yeah, I'd say rule number one is definitely sky busting. Shoot the birds that are in your decoys. Shoot the birds that are in your spread. And, when it comes to, pass shooting, if there's a bird that you can confidently kill, sure, go ahead. But on public land, I think it's a heck of a lot better to, I think it's the acceptable thing to let some of those further shots pass by.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just actually... I was just hunting a war zone last week, and first time ever that I've hunted anything remotely close to this. I've hunted, lakes with maybe four or five groups total on them, counting myself. And, that's no big deal. But this spot, there's at least 15, if not 20 or 25 different groups within probably a 2-mile radius. And it was just
a
nonstop
2-mile radius?
Yeah.
20 groups? Oh, jeez.
Yeah. It was all on a river, so, but it was just nonstop, up and down, both sides, people hunting in the middle, boat blinds everywhere. It's just crazy. And so, you can kind of get that little itchy trigger finger, but you got to just maintain your discipline and try to get them to work. Actually, probably the best case there is, just kind of shut up and really conceal yourself, and those ducks are going to be looking for a place to hide.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy. He's from around here. He's a younger guy, and I was asking him. I said, "Hey, is this a pretty common place?" And he said, "Oh yeah, absolutely. That's how it is up here, around here." And I said, "Geez, and it got me thinking. It's because everybody's the hero in their own story, right? And so, if anybody that's hunted a respectable amount of time up here, it only takes one guy to be a jerk, and then the other guy, the next time he goes out, everybody's just trying to get their duck back. You know what I'm saying? There's only really one jerk, and every other guy is just trying to get his duck back. Because last time I was out here, this is kind of the way it is. But I think it takes a little bit of maturity and a little bit, bigger pants or bigger waders to try to be the change that you wish to see. And so I don't know how you go about doing something like that. And I even thought about, I was wondering if, I've seen in some places wherever you get a good concentration of hunters on a big watershed or something like that. I know that there was a Facebook group for basically El Paso duck hunters. And we all hunted in the same 3 places. And so it was a really good way for us to communicate and try to talk about ground rules and, people being essentially kind of opening the lines of communication. And so that was nice. So I even considered, I was man, I wonder if there's a, Tuttle Creek Facebook group or whatever,
Yeah.
Because I'm sure if you did that, it might open the forum. But you know how those things get. So.
Yeah, and see where I'm at, I don't think that would work out here, just because we're so close to so many different states. Just driving today, I saw 4 different state license plates, all duck hunters.
Yeah, I mean, though, here's the thing, is if I knew that I was hitting a certain area quite a bit, and I eventually saw a Facebook group that was Soggy Bottoms Pond, Hunters Facebook group, I'd be oh, heck yeah, and I'd join that to see, I guess to Internet Scout, probably, but, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yep.
So I wonder if that's something that we might see here in the future. I don't know. I might try it out or get someone else to try it out. So I don't think I have it in me to have another Facebook group that I manage. So, but yeah, man.
Oh, all right. What next? Let's see.
I would say distance.
You got one?
Yeah, distance from hunting parties. Okay, so obviously
that's a key one.
It's terrain dependent, I know, because okay, you could be only 80 yards from each other, but there might be a ridge in between you, and that'd be fine. But I think a good hard rule, if everybody did this, it would be, I think, amazing. 400 yards is the minimum.
I would love that.
And I don't think
that would be.
And I don't think it's crazy. And obviously, there's some situations that that's not correct. So, I was hunting a Ducks Unlimited managed property in Oklahoma last year, and was I 300 yards away from the other hunting group? Well, yes, but they had conveniently the place wasn't that big, and they had conveniently set up right in the middle. But I was on some little, we weren't hunting the same water. You know what I mean? Of course we were hunting the same birds, but, so it's things like that kind of make a difference. But I think 400 yards is a good, plus or minus, 400 yards there would create a much better hunting situation for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is situational, but just as a general rule, 400 would be perfect.
Yeah. And I think...
Or ideal, I guess.
And safer.
Sorry, go ahead.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think at 400 yards, either those birds are coming or they're not. They're not... If they're within, 400 yards, you're not hunting the same birds. You know what I mean?
Yep. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
No, 400 yards I think it's ideal. You don't have to worry about shot raining down on you. You don't have to worry about really people sky busting or calling your birds. I mean, they can try, but if they're working you, for a fact they're working you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think 400 yards would be great. And I think in Texas, there's like a legit rule. Like, you have to be 400 yards away from the next hunting party. Otherwise, it's hunter harassment.
In California, it's only 100 yards.
That's a little crazy.
That's by law. Yeah, I had this from Mid Valley Mercenaries commented, and he told me that he's in California. You only have to be 100 yards away. Which I don't think Nebraska has a law that states a minimum distance. It does for like roadways and structures, but I don't think other hunting parties.
Yeah, I'm actually looking it up right now. But yeah, I think 400 yards is safe. And it's like, if everybody did that, it'd be great. So, should we move to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you roll up into a spot, and you're going to be like, it was your primary spot that you had scouted. Boom, the flashlights turn on. And someone's there. Let's say you didn't have a plan B. And now you're like, crap, like, where am I going to go now? I don't think it's impolite to ask a guy or a gal, or whoever's hunting there, and say, hey, guys, do you mind? This was the only place I could find with ducks on it this week, and I'm a busy guy. Like, I just couldn't get out and scout any more than I can. I'm sure you're a busy guy too. But do you mind if I, pull up and we can use some more of my decoys? Like, you guys obviously call the shot because you got here first, and I think it'll be a great time. You know what I mean? I don't think it's impolite to ask somebody when you roll up on them if you can hunt with them. Especially you were talking earlier, and I used to think, oh, well, you didn't scout? Sorry, like, that sucks for you. You know what I mean? But then it's one of those things where it's like, dude, what if the dude was up, or like he left the house late because he was helping his wife change a diaper, or the kid woke up. So many things out of our control, and if anybody ever asks to hunt with me, it's always come on, like, because that might be the newest addition to your hunting party after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could be a total flop, in which case you just leave, but.
Yeah, and, you don't have to just hunt the early morning. If you're going to be late for that first flight, that first hour, I would just rather, if it was just me personally, I would just wait it out so I don't screw up other people's hunts. They might be done and leave. I can get in there before the 9 a.m. flight, before the 11 or the 2 p.m. flight. I could either hunt, or I could just hunt the whole afternoon, just let people get out of there, and then you can go hunt and maybe even have less pressure as the morning goes on into the afternoon. That's just me. I know some people will do that. They'll sleep in till 9 and be out there by 10 and hunt for 4 hours or so.
And those people we like to call smart people.
Yeah.
I don't have the patience. I could never do it. Like, I love waking up at 2 a.m. and it kind of sucking and going out there and like being the first in the marsh, and that's part of it for me. You know what I mean? So. Yeah.
Yep. I know what you mean. I can do either way. I mean, I've gone out, had great afternoon hunts, had morning hunts. So I don't really mind either way.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't really gone out at like 10 a.m. or anything, but.
No. And so, that leads into like, don't show up 30 minutes before shooting time. You know what I mean? If you're going to hunt the morning, hunt the morning. And I understand like there's things that can make you late, but if you're going to be paddling through people's sets, probably best to just go find somewhere else. Or, like Matt said, wait it out. Maybe, sometimes at a certain point you got to call it. Like, oh, I'm too late. You know what I mean? And that comes back down to being selfish, too. Like, you can get out there, but you're going to ruin the first 30 or 45 minutes of somebody else's hunt who they did all the right things, and they're out there. They scouted, they set up, they got up early, but you didn't wake up early enough, and so now because of that, they have to suffer. It's just kind of as they would say, a jerk move, so I don't... I think...
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, so... Oh, okay, well, we set up distance and set time and sky busting. What other rules do you got?
Let's see here. Okay, I guess I kind of want to discuss the notion of people's birds. And what I mean by that is, what do you consider someone else's bird? Like, just asking you here, Ben, what do you consider, like, do not touch, like, do not call, do not scare them away kind of thing?
Okay, so obviously this goes into the how far away someone is. You know what I mean? But let's say, for the sake of this, there's two blinds, 200 yards apart, right?
Okay.
So we're hunting. Your blind's over there, and my blind's over here, and we're hunting, and we got birds way out front, right? And they're just kind of like circling around, and we're both calling. I think that's great. They swing out to the left over your blind, right? And then they're kind of working that way. When they're in front of your blind, like, I'm not calling at them. Unless they're like a mile high, and there's a potential that they're swinging over mine. You know what I mean? They're checking us. They're checking us both out. We're still calling, but I'm not. Once they're within that, like, kind of working your spread, they're like 100 yards, and they've hit you up a couple times. You know what I mean? And I've seen you turn them with your calls. Like, that's when I set my calls down.
Oh yeah, see, I'm the same way there.
Yeah.
If they're cupped up, they're circling around your spread, I'm letting you have them. They're your birds unless they peel out for whatever reason. Then they're fair game. But if they're cupped up and they're keying in on that spot, those are your birds.
Okay.
And I know some people disagree with me there. They'll be like, they're not your birds until they're in your hand. But it educates birds if you just try to outcompete each other, and two, it can lead to confrontations and possibly even safety issues if you're shooting at birds and you don't, and once again, it's the distance between setup thing, but it saves a lot of problems if you kind of just lay off if they're not coming into your spread.
Well, okay. So then riddle me this then. Blind A, they're following all these rules.
Okay.
Blind B, they don't care. They're going to call your birds off you. Blind B is going to win, right? Because they're calling at all the birds, let's say, and where you're only calling at birds that are giving you, that are within the quote rules or the paradigm that you set up that you would call at, where that other group might pull a couple birds off of you. Do you just let it happen, or do you call their birds off? Is there a point where you're like, well, okay, I guess the game's off, and I'm gonna do unto you as you do unto me? Is that, you know what I mean? What do you do at that situation?
That's a good one, and that is kind of where I was at today, except they never had birds working them.
Too funny.
But I don't. That's a tough call. I think if it came down to that, I would either maybe go talk to them and be like, "Hey guys, look, can we work something out here? You want to join up?" Or, every other flock, try to figure something out, try to be diplomatic about it, I guess. Is probably how I would approach that situation if it's possible.
Yeah,
but I realize that's not ideal on public ground. Tempers flare very easily, and pretty much anything goes in some areas. So
yeah, and that's exactly right. That's why I asked the question. It's because that's
a good question.
That's how those public spots get the way they are, because you've got the people that are not. They don't start off doing it, but then 2 or 3 times this happens to them. And then at a certain point, they're like, well, man's got to get his own. You know what I mean? And so then he falls right in, either leave with a full, limit, or you hunt long enough to see yourself become the skybuster, I guess. In the words of Harvey Dent. So...
I didn't know he was a waterfowler.
Yeah, it was a little known fact about the Batman series, as it were. But that was stupid. But and then like I said, what's the have you ever had anybody approach you on public land and been like, "Hey, we're really close. Why don't we just join forces?" I feel like I'm the only dude that offers that.
I've been approached on public land. I really would rather just kind of, because I like just hunting with my buddies. Not to say that you can't find cool people out there in the marsh, but I'm very particular about how I do things. Yeah. Be it decoy spreads or calling tactics or anything. And it's just kind of awkward if, I don't want to impose anything on anybody else. So I just I'd either find a new spot or just, probably just find a new spot. I've only been approached one time, and that's what I did. I just, there first, and I was like, oh, I'll just go somewhere else.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is a lot of people, they don't have a backup. You know what I mean? They go in there and that's their one spot, and that's a gamble.
It is. I mean, when you're hunting public land, you need to have at least 4 spots that that you can get to, or get there early enough that you're going to beat out everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why anytime my friends like, "Oh, what time are we leaving?" It's usually like, 2 a.m. But then I was talking to my neighbor who he hunts down here too, and he was like, "Oh man, I was out scouting tonight, and there was dudes already throwing their decoys out." And I was like, "Oh, really? That sucks." I got half of mine. I was like, "Well, you want to go night fishing for some decoys?" But that's not right either.
Yeah, see, now some states it's illegal.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think Kansas is one of them.
Yeah, like you can't. There's a couple things, like you can't have a boat out, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's just you can't put your decoys out.
Yeah. Well, Arkansas, which, I mean, you can say what you want about Arkansas, but they have, I think it's a 4 a.m. boat launch time. Like, you can't be out there before. It's like...
Yeah, that's awesome. I would love to go...
There's guys ramping each other. Like, I guess what I've talked to a couple of guys about this from Arkansas, and, it's basically 2 guys in the boat. You might be hunting with 4 guys or whatever your party is. 2 guys in a boat. You take the lightest guys so you can get faster. Throw in the decoys. You drop off the one guy. He throws the decoys out so he can claim the spot. Then you go back and get all the heavier stuff, and then you toodle on in.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Those videos are just like a drag race. People going
not a drag race, a derby. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, a demo derby, pretty much.
Yeah, I've seen those videos, and like I would like to participate in that once. Like that's once. You know what I mean?
I'd love to watch it firsthand. I don't think I'd want to be on a boat during that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. So, what were you hunting out of this week?
What do you mean?
Were you guys just set up on the? You haven't sent me your video link yet, so I don't know what your hunt looked like this weekend.
Well, so the 2 hunts I went on this weekend. First one, I just sat up in some cattails and saw pretty much nothing for birds. Like I could probably count. It's probably 30 total for the whole time, and I only hunted till about 9 because the Huskers kicked off early.
Yeah.
Which whoever keeps scheduling these early kickoffs needs to be fired.
I agree.
But
well, hey, the Huskers did really well yesterday.
We did. We didn't get the W, but we looked good.
Yeah.
I think we'll win this weekend.
Yeah. Who all went out with you?
I was just hunting solo both days this week.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Which part of the state were you hunting?
That's disclosed.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm out in Nebraska, western Nebraska.
Western Nebraska, gotcha. I didn't know if you'd made a trip up to the old stomping grounds up there or not, but
nope. Maybe this weekend. Deer opens up, so I'm gonna turn in my waders for some orange and try to get a buck.
Yeah, you're gonna be so close though. You should just come down and we can go get. We can have some college kids scare the ducks away from our spread. Just kidding.
Well, that raises another point. What I want to get your thoughts on this because I actually thought about this today of what these blinds. I was like, if we had 2 or 4 people split up into pairs and fill up both those blinds, and then we could do that communication thing. Every other group we get. What if you did that down there? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, basically taking out a larger party and then spreading out.
Yeah,
I know that some people what they do is they'll go set up a party, so they know where they want to hunt, and then they'll set 3 or 4 dudes up with like just a half a dozen decoys on either side of them, and completely stake off the land. And then as soon as it's shooting light, they'll pull up. And they'll reconsolidate, and then you've basically carved yourself out a much larger spot. And if that's what you kind of have to do to get somebody to be 200 or 300 yards away from you, I don't really too much have an issue with that. If it gets someone to, now if you're talking huge swaths like 600, 700, 800 yard. You've got your entire every dude that was a groomsman with you lined up along
Everyone
the bank.
Everyone drives a separate truck.
Yeah, that's different, I think. But if you're just doing what you can to scrape out a little 400 yard piece of heaven for yourself, then I don't know.
I'm sure that happens though. I'm sure someone does it.
Yeah. So I think I've done it once. I was like, hey man, just go stand over there like 200 yards because we'd been getting set up on pretty bad the entire week, and so we did that, and then it worked out for us. So
yeah,
but yeah, man.
What else? What else is there? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I guess we didn't want to just talk about public land etiquette. Did we want to cover some others?
Yeah, being successful on public land, and some of the tips and tricks that you've hunted public quite a bit, and then I pretty much only exclusively hunted public for my first 3 or 4 seasons. So
yeah, so being successful on public land, I guess in a general term, I mean we all have those bad those bad luck stories or those frustrating hunts like we both experienced this weekend. But more often than not, all you need to remember to be successful on public land is just 2 words, and that is work harder. I find a lot of people put in the minimum effort, and they'll set up right next to the parking lot, or they'll, you can go on and on, but you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. If it's something where it's like, okay, well, there's really no, I think I found myself in this situation a lot when I was first starting out, is like, well, it'd be super easy to get there if I had a boat, but I don't have a boat. So how do I get in there? And then you have to look and like, well, man, that's probably an hour-long hike where it'd be a 10-minute jaunt for a boat. And so when you say work harder, it's, it really stinks walking for 45 minutes and then hearing a boat cruise up right as you're about to show up, which is why my number one rule when it comes to working hard, it kind of falls on the same lines. Working hard, you gotta be early. You're already waking up early. You're already driving, upwards of maybe half an hour to 3 or 4 hours. Who knows? Why are you not going to take like that extra little bit of insurance and say, okay, well, we're leaving at 1 a.m. and then we're going to get there at 3, because not a lot of people are there at the water at 3 a.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And not a lot of people, they're not going to do those. If especially marshy areas that you can't get a boat in,
mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to find your first opening and set up there, which, is fine. They'll probably shoot some birds. But it takes, and it's not just the day of the hunt. If you really want to be successful, you got to work before then. That means, do your scouting. Go out, scout a lot. Scout every time of the day, every time of the week, anytime you have a free minute. Try to find those areas and what kind of weather patterns the birds are, and when they're using those areas, what the birds are looking like during that time. I guess you could just go and say scouting is another very important part of it. That's just general waterfowl talk, but scouting goes back into the work hard. A lot of people, they probably don't even scout. They just go out, and this is where I'm going. Hopefully there's birds there, which that's fine. But if you want to be consistently successful on public land or even private land, you got to do your scouting. You got to put boots on the ground and
I'd
go
say
out there and watch.
My kind of what my rule is for scouting these public land spots. The first time you go out there, you're scouting for access. You're scouting to see what the place is like, and then you have to be there within 2 days of when you're hunting. I think so. The timeline: you have to be there within 2 days of when you're going to actually hunt the place, and you have to be there at the time you're going to hunt. There is the other thing where you scout the night before, maybe even 2 nights before. That's getting a little far out there. Okay, hey, there's birds here. We're going to set up here. You know what I mean? But I've had many times I've been burnt where, okay, hey, it's the night before the hunt, scout it. Hey, there's birds here. And in the morning, they don't even use that in the morning. You know what I mean? And I've been some places where I found it because I pumped the brakes because I saw a little glimpse of the lake through the trees, and I saw birds there at 6:30 in the morning, and I would have never found them otherwise. And so we go set up there at 6:30 in the morning, and that's, we hit them real hard for 2 days, and then I've never seen them there again. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, what are your rules? Does that sound pretty in line?
Yeah. I like to do it the night before. I'm generally scouting about the same areas.
Yeah.
And so I can kind of get them keyed in on, when they're coming back from the fields or when they're heading out. I guess in my area, it's a lot easier to get kind of a good feel of them. like around Lincoln, I know we could never really get them keyed in on like a specific pattern.
Yeah,
because it's just so many different water bodies and so much pressure out there that it's hard to really get them figured out. But out here, it's a little more consistent, a little easier to get them pinned down.
it always helps when you can see like a half a mile too. You know?
Yeah, that does help.
Yeah, if you're not having to worry about trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so another thing, so scouting obviously pivotal to public land hunting, but I think a lot of guys that public land hunt, I don't think they've got the time to scout. I think there's a good majority of people that get really turned off to waterfowl hunting because you do have to go like scout hard, and like they don't have access to like a place where they don't have to scout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, damn, like I know what needs to be done to be successful, really successful, but unfortunately I'm constrained by time or situation, and they can't get it in. And they end up showing up, and which is fine. Like some people don't care. They just want to be out in the marsh and shoot 2 or 3 ducks. You know what I mean? And I think that's the healthiest actually attitude towards waterfowling that there probably is. Like, hey, I want to get out. I want to go like 5 or 6 times a year, and I want to, go out with my buddy, and I want to shoot 5 or 6 ducks, maybe total, and I just want to enjoy the outdoors. I think a lot of the problems that we get is from us crazies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the diehards that are scouting every day, or
Yeah, well, like sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot, because we're so crazy for this. And I mean, you can't turn it off, and you can't turn passion off. But I think we cause a lot of our own like headaches. So
I would agree with that.
Yes, sir. But yeah, I think the access is a huge thing. Dudes that don't have a boat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That can be really rough in a lot of places. So you have to look at, how am I going to get in there? What am I going to pack with me? And I think that goes back to, people don't like the term internet scouting, but internet scouting is in the ways of understanding like where do roads, meet public land, and trying to find the best like attack point for a particular area that you want to hunt. So you're not crossing through, private property, that you're avoiding the boat ramps or having to walk really far. So,
yeah, and I just want to clarify internet scouting real quick because I feel like I need to.
Yeah.
So I think what you're meaning by internet scouting is you're looking at like Google Maps, your local game and parks, game and fish.
Yeah, I've called it
commission.
digital. I've called it digital scouting in the past. Go ahead, continue.
But you're talking like looking at maps, looking at the available public areas, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've talked to other people who do this, and I've had it happen to me, somewhat often. But you would not believe how many people, when you have a hunting YouTube channel, how many people will ask you, "Hey, where are you hunting?" Like that's the type of internet scouting that I do not agree with, because one, no one's gonna tell you.
Right.
Like, you're just making it awkward for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And then it's just really awkward. So, like, just do your own work, guys. Just want to put that out there. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's been times where it's like, when I was in El Paso in like my first season, I was looking at other people's photos of them having successful hunts because I was trying to find, some good spots. And I said to myself, "Holy crap! I know where that picture was taken, or at least I know that it was on the other side of that mountain range." And so I looked at it because it was basically like mirrored, like the mountains were, and I was like, oh yeah, it's got to be 6 miles. And I drove out and I found the place. And then when I found, I was like, oh man, that was kind of shady of me to do that. I mean, I don't think I ever ended up hunting it. I think I actually did. I did hunt it once, but I never ran into the guy. But that's like internet scouting right there.
Yeah, see, I don't have an issue with that. Like, if you can figure out where someone's hunting from their videos or pictures, that's fine. But don't just ask them. Like, that is really, that's a good way to get people to just, kind of rub people the wrong way.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can tell, and fish are really bad about this. Like, they are super protective. I can't tell you how many fishermen pictures I've seen where they're holding like a trophy muskie or something, and they have the whole background blacked out or blurred out. I think there's an app for it even now, but they are super protective, and I feel like hunting's going to move that way, or if it hasn't already. People try to take pictures so you can't see the background or any identifiable characteristics.
Yeah. I agree. And actually, I've got he runs a pretty successful fishing podcast that I've reached out to last week that I'm going to talk to him a little bit about public land exploitation. We've had so many conversations about in the group, like, hey, don't talk about Cheyenne Bottoms. Dude, like, it's on the cover of DU right now. Like, those people going back and forth with each other. You know what I mean? Like, don't mention this, public spot. Don't mention this. And we talked a little bit about that last week, I think. But really talking about, like, what are the consideration factors, because that conversation piece has been around in fishing for a very long time. Especially with the, because what is it? YouTube fishing is like, something like 2 or 3 years ahead of hunting YouTubes, right?
Yeah, I've heard a couple people say that, like duck hunting now, or just hunting in general, is what fishing on YouTube looked like 3-4 years ago.
Right. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then there's obviously, when we talk a little bit about being successful in public land, I think that there's a certain amount of these rules, like, that you have to uphold yourself to, because you could go out and be the biggest jerk in public on the the public property, and probably pull people's ducks, badger people into like situations that they don't want to be in, and you could still shoot a limit of birds, but were you really successful? You know what I mean? So, but yeah.
Yeah.
You have actually, you're a big kayak hunter.
I love my kayak.
Yeah, so, I have that 14 or 16-foot John boat, and me and Austin, we didn't get it registered in time because I got a 6.5 horsepower motor on it. I'll probably have it registered this week, but we paddled that thing out there with some kayak paddles, and it worked like a dream. And it was nice because didn't have to worry about the motor or anything like that, or a trailer. We just threw it in the back of the truck. And I think next time all we're going to do is just add the motor to it, and it made my life so much easier. So.
Yeah, you need to talk to Jordan from Duck Gun. He does the canoe thing.
Yeah,
and he does pretty good with that.
Yeah. What ended up basically, like, why did you end up choosing a kayak? And is a big boat ever in your future?
A big boat is possibly in my future. Well, I guess I did buy a boat this last summer.
Oh, that's right.
And you know what boat stands for, right?
No.
Bust out another 1,000. And yeah. Well, we bought this boat. I was just kind of a stupid thing. I was at a garage sale, and this guy was moving away and saw this boat there, and it was for sale, and he's like, yeah, I'll take 400 offer for you. I was like, oh, sweet. And so me and Devin kicked in, we put we both put in 50% and we bought this boat and took it out twice. And, both times we were revving her up, having fun, making whirls, making waves and all that crap. And it cuts out both times.
Oh man.
So the first time, luckily we had a buddy with a boat. We went, he had a boat out there too. And then we were able to get it started up. The next time though, we were about a mile away from shore and we had to use our trolling motor to get back, and it took about 2.5 hours.
Oh God. What's the issue?
So I think it was just bad gas, water in the gas, either that or something with the carburetor. It's been at the shop for the last 6 weeks. Haven't heard back from them, so I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. Hopefully it's not too expensive, but no, I would like a boat some point in the future though. Just having a boat blind with a nice stove that I can cook breakfast instead of my whatever Pop-Tarts or whatever little breakfast that I carry with, that'd be a lot nicer.
Yeah.
And not having to physically exert myself every time.
Right.
But
now, is there not a way on your kayak? Can you put a trolling motor on it or something?
Oh man, if I put a trolling motor on that kayak, it'd look like one of those little high-speed racing boats, I think. You know how they tip up so fast?
Yeah.
I think that's what would happen with that kayak.
How big's your kayak?
It's only a 10-footer. Yeah, it's 10 foot.
Yeah, you could put the battery way up front, run a wire back to it, and just run that thing over your shoulder. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've seen them. They got people put big LED light bars on their kayaks and stuff. And I was like, yeah.
That's awesome though.
Yeah, you definitely would look unique in the marsh.
Right.
But no, I got that kayak. They were just at Walmart, and I was like, well, I could get to a lot more spots with this kayak. So I just bought it and then modified it up, and now I wouldn't go anywhere without it. I love how it works. I wish I would have got a little bigger one, kind of like Elliot has, but
yeah, like an actual layout boat.
Yeah, they have so much more storage.
Yeah,
but it gets the job done.
Yeah,
I can't complain about it.
I would definitely look into that if I were you, because I haven't sat in one, but I did throw all my gear in and haul it out there, and it wasn't a bad haul. But it was nice for sure. Just a very built up, almost open kayak. So, because you don't hunt from your kayak, do you? You just stand in the marsh and you push it in, right?
Yeah. I cannot hunt from that. I don't like hunting when I can't. I don't like getting up and to shoot even out of a layout blind, which we're going to be trying some more this year, so that'll be interesting. But I don't like shooting from a sitting down or reclined position. I need to be standing up, or at least crouched, so I can jump, pop up and shoot them while I'm standing. It's just kind of a comfortability thing for me.
Right. Agreed. So what are you doing this weekend? You said you're going deer hunting?
Yeah, so we got a 3-day weekend thanks to Veterans Day. So I got 3 days to deer hunt. Hopefully I get it done Saturday so I can duck hunt the other 2, because it never fails. Whenever I'm out deer hunting, that's when I see the big flocks. That seems to be the migration or the start of it.
I actually have a 4-day weekend.
Ooh.
But my wife just informed me that we don't have any daycare set up for Monday. So sounds like I need to make it a Friday, Saturday thing. So, yeah, if you are, if you're in the area and you get a deer down, let me know. I think we should. I'm only I think 45 minutes. No, I'm probably an hour away from your parents' place. So
Yeah, come on up. We got a private pond with a heated pit blind.
ooh, that's
Yeah, so we might not shoot too many ducks, geese, but we'll have bacon and eggs at least.
That's worth it for me right there. Yeah, I think we should definitely look into doing that. So, for sure. But so essentially I got 2 days this weekend that I'm going to be hunting because I think it's, oh man, sorry. For any of those that don't know, we're recording, what is this? This is the 4th, Sunday night. It's only 7:09 p.m., but it feels like 8:09 p.m. because of the time difference. But
plus we were out hunting all weekend, so
yeah, that's true. I was only out hunting yesterday morning. But,
okay.
Yeah, I don't get to go twice in a weekend anymore. Unless I think I will start asking for that once it gets a little better down here. I'm not gonna burn it, yet. So
pick your battles.
Yeah, yes, sir, for sure.
All right, should we get back on track here?
Yeah, we should.
Kind of diverged off there, but I do have another tip for being successful on public land that I thought of.
Let's hear it.
So I stress this a lot if anyone watches my videos, my hunting boot camp series, or even other ones too. But I like to do something different, and so I think we've talked about this in the past too, Ben. But like the standard spread, your standard duck or your standard waterfowl spread, probably half dozen goose floaters and maybe 2 dozen greenheads. Would you agree with that?
I would. And 2 mojos.
And 2 mojos, yeah. And I like to, and this kind of goes back into the scouting. I like to kind of match the hatch, as it were. It's a fly fishing term. Match what the fish are eating.
Right.
I try to match how the birds look, what birds are out there, and so I've got a bunch of laughs pulling up there to the boat or to the ramps and to the hunting areas, and when I pull my coot decoys out.
Oh yeah.
And people, you hunting coots? And I'm like, no, they're confidence decoys. I don't want to shoot coots, but they all just kind of snicker, or they like, what is this guy doing? We're rocking coot decoys. And
the best part about coot decoys is you can get, you go to a garage sale and you see a box full of, 70s or 80s decoys. All it takes is 1 can of bed liner and just a quick hit of white spray paint. That's it.
Yeah.
And you've got yourself tons of decoys.
Super easy. And if you got, we got coots out here everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
The sand hills, all the rivers, lakes, they all have coots on them, So it's just natural. It's almost unnatural for there not to be coots with them.
Well, I've told you the story about my first decoys, haven't I?
I don't remember.
So when I went out and first checked, the first time I ever went duck hunting, I went out, the day before to scout, and I saw a bunch of these black ducks with white beaks. And I looked at my crappy brown, my dad had given me a bunch of duck decoys, and I said, wow, crap, those don't look like anything like the ducks that I saw out there. So I spray painted them black and hit their beaks up with white. And I had 2 or 3 dozen coot decoys because I didn't know the difference between a duck or a coot.
Hey, at least it wasn't a grebe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can shoot coots. Grebes will cost you a nice little check.
I think I see every other day some sort of post on the internet about, hey, can you identify this? And it's always a grebe. You know what I mean?
Yes. Grebe or a cormorant.
Yeah. Now those cormorants, doesn't somebody have a season on them this year?
I think North Carolina and maybe Michigan does.
Yeah.
Because it's more for fish, saving their fish populations. Because I guess I looked it up, and they will decimate a fishery. Like if they're there, them and pelicans.
Yeah. I know my parents live on a lake, and my dad, he says that cormorants, you'll have one or two show up the one day, and then the next day you'll have 30 or 40 cormorants showing up, and so they shoo them off as best they can to kind of let them know that they're not wanted there.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that shooing off, but
yeah, we might not want to know.
I don't think we do.
But no, going back to the, just be different. Not just coot decoys. You can use all kinds. There's blue heron decoys.
Dive Bomb has some sandhill crane decoys.
That's another one. If everyone's running a mojo, I'll pull mine or not even take it out. And then, if everyone's hammering on high balls or just calling aggressively, sometimes I'll just shut up or give them few little quacks. That's really all you need. Little quack, little whistle, just something to stick out from everyone else's spreads. That's why I have divers, I have teal and widgeon and pintail. I have a whole potpourri of different duck decoys, and I don't take them all out at once. I kind of mix them out. This was the first day I took out my mallards. I've been running my puddlers and my coots and divers earlier this year, just because that's where I was hunting. That's what I saw a majority of.
And
now
you are a quality over a quantity duck decoy guy. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Well, with my kayak, I kind of have to be. I can't pull a lot in. With my cart, I can carry more. But
here's a question for you with your kayak. Can you not just float a bag behind you?
I could, but I got them all Texas rigged.
Yeah.
I like that Texas rig. I don't really like the wrapping and unwrapping.
One thing you might want to look into is the duck nuts.
Okay.
Because you put them on there and you just slide the base towards the decoy, and then you don't have to wrap it up because it's just a line that's flailing out. So it won't get tangled on anything. So you can put 3 or 4 dozen in a bag without having to wrap or anything like that, which is nice.
Okay.
Unless you're my friend Austin and I give them to you to rig up and pack all the decoys the night before, and you don't put the weight towards the base or towards the decoy, you just keep them at the end of the line, and take my word that you can just throw them in a bag. And then they still end up being like Texas rigs when you don't use them properly. So, and it was a good thing we were out there early. So, but yeah. So you don't think that you could? So how do you stow them on your kayak? How many can you take out?
I've taken out. Usually, I take out about 2 dozen. I've taken out more. I don't like to, because pretty much they're on top of me too. Then I just throw them on top of myself.
Yeah.
As well. But most of them I can get a dozen up front on the bow, and then I can get another dozen on the stern, and just go from there.
Yeah.
I'm looking into a sled, because I can just hook a sled up, throw them in there, and pull it. I think that might be the easier way. I just need to find one that I like. So that'll probably be an off-season purchase.
Yeah. Those sleds are pretty handy. And I think that would work out really well for towing it behind you, and get more gear out there.
Yeah.
Do you use a marsh stand? Or excuse me, not a marsh stand, a marsh stool?
I don't use a marsh stool, but I do use the marsh stand from HTR Innovations.
Yeah, that thing's nice.
That thing is sweet.
I know, I agree. Dude, you should look into a marsh stool, because I told myself that I didn't need them either, but this year I bought one, and it's pretty nice being able to sit down in the reeds.
Oh no, I want one. I just haven't got one yet. I have like a little fold out one that I've taken. It's from Walmart, and it only sits about 2 foot off the ground. So if we're in knee deep water, it doesn't do me any good. But
yeah, I think we need to talk to Hunter and Jordan over there at HTR Innovations and have them make one.
Oh, there we go.
Because I got one I got a Northern Flight one right now. So from Cabela's.
Just coming up with some new products for them.
I know. For sure. But okay, what else do we got? That was a long time to talk about your kayak.
Yeah, this one's kind of all over, guys. I apologize.
That's all right. But
what else do we have here for public land success? Oh, well, this I guess this kind of also ties into be different, if it's possible, but it's, choose, maybe don't hunt at peak traffic times. And what I mean by that is, the weekends are obviously going to be the most populated. The morning's going to be the most populated. If you can get out there midday, go out midday. If you can get out there in the afternoon, nothing wrong with an afternoon hunt either. You can still shoot birds. You can shoot birds all day. And depending on the weather and the conditions, you might be more successful in the afternoon. I've gone out afternoons where it's really warm in the morning, and you get that cold front come through around noon, and then the birds just show up like that, just like you snapped your fingers, and you can limit out in an hour.
Yeah, I've never had too much success in the afternoon, just because I feel like they fly super late wherever I ended up, and they ended up flying right at sunset. So usually is how that works out for me.
Well, you got to find where they were flying from, Ben.
Well, that would be helpful, I think. Probably a good thing to do. I'll put it on my to-do. The other thing too is I am such a morning hunter. I love hunting in the mornings. So I'd rather go sit out on a marsh and get skunked in the morning than go back and shoot 6 in the afternoon. That's a pretty bold statement. If it's not in the morning, it's not doing it for me.
I like hunting mornings as much as the next guy. Probably not as much as you, but I also like my sleep. I am not a morning person per se. I would describe myself as more a night owl.
Yeah.
So, and it's really tough because in the fall and stuff here, you got those late Friday football games. So I'll watch those until 11 or so.
Yeah.
And then wake up at 3 or 4 to go out. So I don't really get a lot of sleep on the weekends. So if I know it's going to be good in the afternoon, I have nothing wrong with taking that, morning off and hunting the afternoon.
Yep. I get you.
But it's just, personal preference. Some people, mornings are definitely the best, I would say, overall.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Sometimes you just got to switch it up.
Yeah, I agree. What are you doing to your computer right now?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Oh. But.
Were you hearing sound or something?
Yeah. It sounded like you were dusting it off or something.
No?
Oh, okay. Never mind. Well, I think we about beat it up. The old public land.
I think so. Maybe we'll throw it out to the listeners here. Guys, if you have any other tips or any other, I guess, etiquette comments you'd like to make, just, drop it down below when Ben posts this in the group page or the Facebook page. Facebook page. Let us know down below.
Yep. And what video should they be looking out? So they're hearing this tomorrow morning, I guess. Are you releasing tomorrow?
I did not know that. That's a quick turnaround. Holy crap. All right. Well, I'm hoping to get 3 out this week.
Oh, man.
Tomorrow possibly is going to be a new cooking video. So if you guys like barbecue and you have a bunch of duck, definitely want to check this one out. And then you'll have 2 duck hunts. The one from today will probably release Friday. We'll see what happens with my editing this week because it's supposed to snow Thursday, Ben, out here. And when it snows, I save all my vacation days up. So if it's snowing, I'm not going to work.
No,
pretty much is how that works.
I love hunting in like a slow falling snow. Nothing that does it better for me.
What is your ideal hunting day? I think you used to ask. Did you used to ask people this question?
Yeah, I still do.
Okay, I want to hear yours.
So mine would be like if I could hunt any, like if you said tomorrow, what's it going to be like? We're going to go hunting. I would say that I want to be over some shallow water. Either that's a, shallow river or something with an ag field, or some sort of field, right? In a small amount of water. And I'd be in like a hard stand blind, like either a pit blind or like an HTR A-frame or something like that. And it'd be like a light snow falling. I think about 10 mile an hour wind. And it would be kind of like gloomy and dark out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's how it would be for me. And bitingly cold.
See, mine's a little different than that. Not too far though. My perfect hunting day, I'd just be on a lake or something, or in a marsh probably. Mm-hmm. And it's probably you wake up, it's sunny, and it's 50 degrees, we'll say.
Yeah.
And about 10 o'clock, clouds just roll in. That north wind picks up. And it's gusting 30 miles an hour, starts to rain, then sleet, then finally just heavy snow, and the birds are right in that front.
Right.
You could almost call it a foul front. And they're just dumping in. You don't even have to talk to them. They're just cupped up and coming in, feet down 10 yards.
Yeah.
That would be my favorite hunt. And actually that's, I guess, kind of segueing into the Veterans Day holiday, that actually is kind of similar to what happened. Have you ever heard of the Armistice Day blizzard, Ben?
Yes. In fact, I want to do a history piece on that, literally an episode all about that.
We should cover that next week.
You want to cover that next week?
I would love to. I love, there's so many good stories about it.
Oh, yeah.
About the, what is it called? About they call it the day of the duck hunter died.
The day of the duck hunter died. And there's been several articles written about it, and obviously there's not a lot of first-hand sources around, but I really wanted to try to get some people on, who, their grandpa told them the story, and have them tell their grandparents' stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I haven't done anything up to this point. There's actually 3 or 4 other history pieces that I really want to do on duck hunting. But yeah, that's one of them.
I think that'd be a good topic for next week, though. It's a really interesting, kind of cool story, tragic, but just the stories about all the ducks they saw that year, that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Just nuts.
For anybody that's not tracking the Armistice Day blizzard, what was it?
40 is in the 40s, I believe.
Yeah. Was it?
Maybe 50s. 40s or 50s. They didn't have good radar then.
Yeah.
Or they didn't have radar.
Yeah, anyways, a bunch of duck hunters went out, and then they all got caught in a blizzard, and a lot of people died that day.
1940.
1940, yeah. But there's some really crazy stories, and If you want, let's do it. Let's do it next week.
Yeah, I'm all for this.
Okay, sounds good. Maybe we'll do it in person if you can get a big buck down and stop messing around with the deer.
That's the challenge. There's so many things I want to do in just so little time now. Like every hunting season that way. I wish I just didn't have to work in the fall.
Yeah, me too. And speaking of that, I better get going so I can get this episode put out. And, well, we've been druthering on for a while now, so.
Yeah, I'm sure people are tired of hearing us talk already. So until next week.
Until next week, guys. Ben from the Foul Front and your new semi going to be around every now and then for most parts. Matt from High Prairie Sportsman.
Yep.
We'll work on your title. I think I'm going to call you like a not a guest host, but we'll figure it out.
Contributor.
I don't know. All right. The people are tired of us.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Bye. I want to give a huge shout out, like we always do during this time, to our partners. So we got Hunt Hickory Creek, which, if you're not familiar with Hunt Hickory Creek, that's Chase and Cody and Scotty and Megan. They're all in the group, and these are a good group of people. I talked to at least one of them, mostly Chase, at least 2 or 3 times a week, whether it's deer hunting or talking about birds or just rubbing in the fantasy football smack talk and all that stuff. Anyways, hey, don't put your money in something that you can't first validate or like get to know or something like that. You can get in there, you can literally see what you're going to be getting out there in the blind with these guys and these guides. So go check them out. Good people, even better people to go hunt with. So we've also got Dive Bomb Industries, and Dive Bomb Industries, they did a lot of good work for us and put a lot of our listeners into some really affordable spreads. And I am just pumped to get out and start targeting some big ducks with my spread that we're all set up with over here, and just really excited to put the 2D ideology to the test. So, all right, we've also got Toe Tags LLC. You guys heard Ryan's story, and if you haven't heard Ryan's story, go check it out. Episode 23. But anyways, just check out. Go look for the Toe Tags LLC story. Whether or not you want to argue that it is actually a regulation or an enforceable law or anything, I mean, the law is the law, and I'm not going to put myself in a position, at least anymore, to where I can be, whether or not I get a ticket is at the discretion of the, investigating officer or however things are going that day. So, just for a couple cents a day, or hunt, I should say, you can be fully taken care of. You already spent all the money on the gas and stuff, so go tag your birds and make sure you're not throwing them in a big old pile, and go ahead and stay legal with Toe Tags LLC. We've also got Gypsum Creek Retrievers. Evan over there in Gypsum with a creek running through the back of his yard is running a awesome little kennel, and I got to go out and I got to go hunt with his flagship dog, and got to see the way that he interacts with that dog, and just the way he talks about his business and his dogs and the dog he's training. Like it's really humbling to see a guy who's like so ate up with it and is just in it, and he's just doing it out of passion, and decided to make his passion something that can put dinner on the table. And it's a heck of a deal. We've also got Athlon Optics. Athlon Optics, go check these guys out. They have some of the finest shooting scopes on the market, and their binoculars are bang up. Literally, they are the same quality as something that you'd pay 2 or 3 times the price of, and they're just a solid feeling binocular, and it's nice. I'm not going to do any direct comparisons out there, but I've held a lot of binoculars in my time, and I'm very satisfied with these ones. So go check them out at Athlon Optics. I've got the Midas 10x42, and it is suiting my needs perfectly out here in Kansas. All right. Next, we've got Freelance Hunt Stats. I've always logged and tracked all the birds that we've harvested and whatnot, but it wasn't until Elliot showed me his Freelance Hunt Stats at freelancehuntstats.com that it's not just a journal anymore. Now it's a database. Now I can go through and I can filter all the stuff that I want to know. Windy days, cloudy days, days I shot all blue-winged teal, like things of that nature, and even by location. And it's super affordable. Just don't buy one Monster this month or one Starbucks coffee, and you've got yourself what you need to keep track. Plus, be super helpful when you go to fill out those HIP permits. So, all right. We've also got duck nuts. That's DUKNUTZ. And if you haven't seen the videos or pictures of me utilizing these things yet, I freaking hate dealing with Texas rigs, and I take out a lot of new hunters, and I'm always sitting there untangling stuff or unwrapping keels, and instead with these duck nuts, you just throw them on there, and all you gotta do is literally you just stretch out the line, or you can slide the weight all the way towards the decoy or down, and you just throw these things in a bag. It's awesome. Hey, they even came out with a carrying. It always seems that my wife is always walking in whenever I'm doing the duck nuts commercial, because she's just looking at me because she thinks it's hilarious. But they just came out with a bag, and it's called the Nut Sack, and it's pretty cool. You can strap your shotgun to it. They've also got hats too, and for my boy Wilson listening out there, Hunter over at Duck Nuts, he made a hat just for you, buddy, and all you other coot shooters out there. So, but yeah, so good stuff. Go check them out. Just a really great product. We've also got the DuckTech mobile app, and the DuckTech mobile app is an app that's designed to help you get better at calling ducks. It's got Barney Califf on there, a 2 or 3 time world duck calling champion, and he does the call, tells you what it's for, why to do it, when to do it, and then you can actually go in and press record yourself, and then you can hear it side by side, so you can see how you want to tweak it up. Pretty cool concept. A lot of times, you're just dealing with like a DVD or some other, like, here's the sounds, now make this sound. And that's not this right here. This is something that you can do on your commute. So, pretty sweet. All right, next we've got Gunner Kennels. And Gunner Kennels, if you have never laid your hands on a Gunner Kennel, probably some of the finest craftsmanship or example of overbuilding something. And that's perfect. That's fine with me. My wife, she loves those things because it keeps the babies safe, the fur babies. And at the end of the day, you're kind of charged with the responsibility of that animal's life. And, I wear my seatbelt. I don't text and drive. Why am I going to, just throw my dog in the back of the truck to, be in jeopardy if something were to happen? And then newest partner that I'm super excited to get you guys into is HTR Innovations. That's HTR, like Hunter, Innovations. And they've got the coolest little thing. It's a stand that you can put out in the marsh that holds your gun, holds my recording equipment, box of shells, all this other stuff. Check it out on the Instagram page. They've also got an A-frame blind that they come out with that is super simple to set up. Just like stupid simple. And then they've got, for you guys that absolutely hate layout blinds, they've got a layout blind insert. And makes that thing just about as comfy as the living room couch. So go check them out. And then last but not least, we've got SRB field rests. So you hiked into this muddy field, set out all your decoys, had your bag ready to go with your gun in it, and then you take your gun out and you just set it in the mud, or you're constantly making sure that you don't fumble this thing around. These two little stakes from SRB Field Rests, stick them there, lay your gun down on them. You didn't come this far to jam your gun up with a little bit of mud because you got excited about some geese in your face. So that was really dramatic. I have a little bit of a stuffy nose, it sounds like, but all right. We just want to let you guys know these companies are the bee's knees. These are cool people, great people. I'm not just throwing them on here so that I can take up your time and make money or whatever it is. I believe in these products. I believe in these people, and I'm a huge fan of somebody turning their passion into their everyday job so that they can try to escape some sort of 9-to-5 where somebody else is their boss. And I'm a huge fan of that. Trying to do that myself. So, yep. Think twice before you buy something similar to these. And they help bring you this show. And so if you like this show, you like it to be around, check these people out. So, all right, everybody, safe hunting.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Foul Front Waterfowl Podcast. Please come join us on our Facebook group, the Foul Front Waterfowl Podcast group, where you can connect with a good group of hunters, because we're all in this together. We need to act like it so that hopefully our great grandkids will be hunting ducks over our favorite public lands. We also ask that you go ahead and give us a written review on iTunes and give us 5 stars if you think we deserve it. And we really do want to hear back from you so that we can give you the best possible content. And if you get in on that Facebook group, you can get in there and you can ask questions and you can tell us what you want to hear next, or you can tell us what you don't like. And we'll be sure to tailor things to our listeners. So, all right. Stay safe out there, and we will see you next week.